Hello, Marcia Woon Choy here again, CEO of Action Coach Jamaica. And thank you for joining us for yet another of our Tuesday business tips in the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce and Action Coach Candid Conversations and Business Tips series. So today we will be sharing on three more of the 9 to-dos as your business restarts. So one of the things that we first of all want to start with is let's just do a recap first of all of the first two tips that we shared. And the first one was that we said we needed to re-educate and prepare ourselves for our business to reopen. Sorry, we have, it seems, a car alarm going off. Sorry, it says now stopped. And the second tip that we shared was to rebuild your team. As we said, as you bring out everyone, your team is going to be almost new in terms of everything that they have to do in this new COVID environment. So the third tip that we're going to be covering today, or the third to do, is renewing with deals for days. Now that's the absolute fun. We want to make reopening, and I know lots of restaurants are reopening. I've seen a couple reopening as well. We have, even on this holiday weekend, some more businesses reopening. So one of the things that we want to be doing during this time is to make that reopening fun. So one of the things I want you to look at is how about putting some deals together? And so some of the deals that we can put together will be for our different target audiences, because in our business we must have different audiences. And so those audiences could be that within our database we have older people, we have younger people, we have males, we have females, we have different professions, industries, different product categories that you sell, and people who may be buying different types of services and combinations. So what we want to do is to make sure, guys, that we don't just reopen, but we reopen with fun and put deals together. Remember, we're trying to get people to come back out and have the confidence to come back out. The other thing we want to look at is looking at putting deals together, especially for our top tier clients. So one of the things I want you to do, if you haven't already done this, is we always say in Action Coach to make sure that you actually tier your clients. So we have what we call A, who are the awesome, B, who are the basics, C, we can't deal with, and D, they're just really dead. Now, the top 20% of your customers are those who are actually spending and contributing at least 80% of the revenues to your business. And that tends to be the top 20% of your customers. So you want to make sure that you know your numbers by running your data again together and saying, okay, who is it? Who are all my top customers that bought from me over these years? And the first thing you want to do is to honor them by preparing deals which are targeted to and for them. The other thing we want to look at is also, and by the way, I want to stress something. When we say put deals together, I am not saying that we need to put deals that are discounts. I'm not saying that. So you can put deals together. For example, you may say buy 2 of this and you get a third one. So I really want to make sure that we're not just discounting, but that we're actually putting and packaging things together. All right. So put deals together for your top customers. And then another category I want to share is, my sister is in the healthcare system in Florida. So she's one of those first responders. Every day I think about her and I pray coverage over her. I want you to recognize that whilst we are going about our days very, very busy doing what we're doing, and I think some people have forgotten that COVID is here, remember to honor the people who are actually putting their lives at risk on the front line every single day. So I want you to think of the nurses. So you could even have deals for if you're a nurse or a doctor in the healthcare system, you put a deal together for them. So look at all the different categories of first responders. We have policemen. We have all the people who we consider essential services so that we can continue to go about our daily lives. So put together deals for our first responders as well and honor them. They're putting their lives at risk every single day. The other thing I want us to look at too as well is our existing customers. So we have our top 20% of customers, but then we have all the other customers as well who have been buying for us. So one of the things I want us to do is to look back at our existing customers and recognize that, listen, customers right now are not racing to come back out into the stores. They're not. They're going to be doing so gingerly, and they want to make sure that we have things in place to protect them when they come into our stores. So we want to make sure that we put deals together for them as well to encourage them to come back out. And I want us to look at something that restaurants may want to consider. We may not be able to operate at full capacity because of the social distancing requirements. But if you really think about it, which restaurant is really always at 100% capacity? So just look at it and say, okay, this is a guideline that I have to deal with. Those are the regulations. And I'm going to make sure that at least I observe what it is that we can do with respect to the amount of people that I can have in my restaurant. And that's fine, and just live with it. The other thing I want to say too is that with restaurants, even though you are now allowed to reopen, remember your existing customers. Not everybody is going to want to come back out into a restaurant. I personally went into one. And when I'm always going to share my experience when I'm on these sessions with you because I'm a consumer. So I walked into a restaurant and I had planned to do takeout. And I said, it looks nice and empty, so let me sit. Within a couple minutes of me sitting, a whole ton of people just walked in, and they had on no masks because, of course, they're going to eat now. So they took off their masks, and then they started to sit. And I noticed that some people were a lot closer. Yes, they were 6 feet away, but honestly, I began to feel a little uncomfortable. And then as more people came in, everybody's talking because they're conversing and they're talking and they're saying hi to people. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, I'm now extremely uncomfortable. I quickly ate my meal and got up and left. I was still not comfortable yet with sitting in a restaurant. So what I want you to recognize is this. For your existing customers, some will want to come out and be social, and there are some who still would like to remain virtual by you delivering to them. So as restaurants, don't just say, okay, we're going to do in-dining now. Remember to offer both in-dining as well as delivery options and still do deals for those clients. And as a matter of fact, when you reopen, you should probably be doing things for those customers who continued during this COVID period, continued to give the patronage to your business by actually purchasing and having you deliver to them during this time. So, just give them thanks to them, and as well as inviting out people to come into your operations now. The other thing you want to look at doing is trying to get new customers. So you have your existing customers, you have your top 20%, you're honoring the first responders with deals, etc. But you want to also be encouraging people to come back out, because to try you out. Not everybody made it through this COVID-19 crisis. And so this is a way as well for you to get new customers. And if you remember what I shared before this was to re-educate and to make sure as well that you prepared. So one of the things that you're going to have to do in your marketing to let people come out and try you is to let them be aware all the time in your marketing of the things that you are doing to keep them safe. So whether it's a restaurant, whatever it is, I've just been using restaurants, but any store, if you're reopening any business, you must let everybody understand what your reopening protocols are and the things that will allow them to feel safe to come into your restaurant. I'm going to be honest, for the smaller restaurants where I can't see capable of having 6 feet between us, if you don't have somewhere outdoor, then people are going to remain virtual by asking you to deliver. So for those of us who have the ability to have an outdoor seating section, an indoor, and a separation, I just called out a couple of people I saw the other day. I saw Cafe Blue and I saw on court. They have that facility. I'm just naming a couple. So if you have the ability to seat inside and outside, that's great. And if you want to get new customers, then let them know we have the ability to seat you outside as well as inside, what your hours are, what the protocols are. So really be encouraging people to come in and shop with you. And for the entire month that you are reopening, offer deals. For example, this is July, and we started this series at the beginning of July. And so right now, whatever month you're reopening in, so if you're one of those that reopened in this month, you should have made this entire month about deals, about reopening, and all the excitement and fun about you coming back out and opening your doors again. Now, the other option as well that I want us to look at is the reopening announcements. So remember I said you want to make it fun. So what we want to do is to not just reopen, but to actually announce the reopening. So I just saw an ad come out, and I think I saw it on, somebody sent it to me on Instagram. That's Scotches, and I'm a Scotches girl. So I've been going to Otrias to the beach, and every time I go to Runaway Bay, I'm looking at the Scotches gate, and I'm just hoping by chance that it will be open. So when I saw the announcement that, yay, Scotches is reopening this week, I was so excited. So you want to make sure that everyone knows that you are reopening. So it needs to be announced. I also want to say for the hotels, it's now the Independence Emancipation Weekend, Independence Weekend. None of us can jump on a plane. We don't want to go anywhere. So guess what? We're going to have to become Jamaican tourists. We're going to have to rediscover our Jamaica. And I just love the festival song that's out. I'm a lady that just loves our country. I've traveled the world, and I'll always say to everybody, Jamaica is the jewel of the Caribbean. So during this period of COVID, let us all commit to having the vacations in Jamaica, going out to all the destinations that they are. And these persons, I've seen them on Gustavo's also celebrating the fact they're reopening. So go out, build up the excitement, let everybody know that you're opening, let them know what the deals are. I've been seeing some amazing deals from some of these hotels that lets people know that they're opening and that they're open, and that they have deals for us locals. So that's an example of deals being given by some of these entities. Announce every step of the way, everything. So put, the we can't wait to see you. Listen, if you have been closed for so long, you want to let customers know that, listen, as we reopen, I am looking forward to see you. We can't wait to see you. And you best believe that's true, because every dollar that they're coming through that door to spend, you need. So you want to announce it everywhere. Announce it in the newspaper, in social media. As I tell you, I saw WhatsApp circulating, in emails to your database, text messages, whatever. So every single place that you possibly can think of, posters, flyers, let everybody know that you are open. Announce as well every team member. So, remember I said your team members are coming back to work. So as you are reopening, there are some people, you go to some restaurants, and I know I'm one of those people that when I walk in, I'm going to ask for, is Rio? I like to go to this restaurant, Golden Bowl, and I'll go in, and the first person I'm asking for is my favorite waiter. So I'm saying, is Rio here? So one of the things you want to do is, if you know, for example, that they're key team member, you want to announce each team member, because in many instances, customers remember this person and they're looking forward to see them. Because I want to say to you, it's not always only just the food that makes the experience in some of these hotels and restaurants. It's the people. Companies don't succeed, people do. And so it's the people that they want to connect with when they come in. They remember the name. So announce every team member, boy, we're reopening again. And boy, we're glad to have John. We're glad to have Ria. We're happy to have Tom, whoever it is. They're all back. And remember to also post a picture of them and what their role is. The other thing you want to do as well is to announce every single deal. So remember we said create deals. Now you need to announce them and let everybody know about the deals that you're offering. The other thing is to announce your reopening dates. So if you're reopening, put the dates that you're reopening, etc., and make everybody know this. Make it very, very big and announce, announce, and announce. The other thing you also want to let everybody know is just the cleaning protocols. You know, I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. Why? Because these tips are about reopening for a great start during this COVID period. COVID is not gone. It's not gone. So we still have to operate within that environment. So a very important thing to announce. Everything needs to be announced, and the thing to announce is the cleaning and social distancing protocols. And when I say use announce, what I also mean is even in your videos, say announcing. And in your videos, you must look excited about it. Look happy to have, your customers back. Sound excited and be excited about it and announce everything that you can think of. The other thing now we want to do is to redo your celebration. So what does that mean? Oprah says the more you praise and celebrate your life is the more there is in life to celebrate. We have a thing called a whiffle on our team, and it's what I feel like expressing. And one of our team members, her whiffle always starts with gratitude. We need to give thanks, and we need to praise, and we need to celebrate life. Praise for the great people in your life and the things that are happening. Praise for God and to celebrate your life. The more there is in life to celebrate, we need to do that. And so when you're reopening, you know how when you first opened, we had ribbon cutting and we invite this person and we had a big fancy event. Well, let me tell you something, folks. Act like it's a first time you're opening. Because you know something? I don't know if you're looking at the news. There are many businesses that will not be able to reopen. There are many businesses that did not make it. So we want to celebrate the fact that we made it through. It's a celebration of survival and coming back. And there is a story of this business doing well, and you talk about what it took for you to make it back through this period. I want to say that this Thursday on our Candid Conversation series, we're going to have Rita Hilton. She's one of our Business Excellence Forum's Action Coaches International North American Conference, where she won Best Import-Export Company. And she is going to share, I'm not going to tell you, she's going to share herself, just what it took for her and her company and her team to deliver the most amazing quarter they have ever had. And I want you to listen to her during that period because, folks, those are the stories that we must celebrate. I noticed that TVJ shared. So I was so happy to see it. I was watching TV last night and a team member said, Marcia, you have to turn to TVJ because TVJ has our business tips on there. And there it was, our Candid Conversation from last week with Marianne Robinson, where she's telling everybody all SMEs need to get online, and they had it on TV. So I'm very glad to see that TVJ is picking up our Candid Conversations, because what we are doing, folks, is Action Coach and the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce recognizes that it is not an easy task for us all as businesses to make it through this challenging environment. So we are putting people together. We're bringing on persons so that we can have everybody talk about what it takes to survive, to get through this and to thrive. So we'll be having many conversations, but it's the story that I want you to listen to, because it is a story of courage. It is a story of determination. It is a courage of belief. It's a story of belief. So we have a lot to celebrate. So when you reopen, make a big ribbon cutting, make it a big celebration, have a cake, celebrate the fact that we survived. And then the other thing is, as I said, celebrate your team. They're back out. They're here to serve you. It is your team that's going to serve the customers. And then I want you to also celebrate your customers in a different way. So, when the customers come back out, I don't know if you remember, I think it was, I can't remember the year. But remember, we were celebrating the millionth customer that arrived in Jamaica. And I remember the big fanfare that happened. And because I used to work at Air Jamaica years ago, but the big fanfare when the 1 millionth customer arrived and they came down the stairs and Minister of Tourism and everything and all kind of pictures were taken and JTB and everybody was celebrating. I want you to do the same thing. When the door opens and you reopen, the first customer that walked through the door, celebrate them. So if it is Suzanne, who is one of your regulars, then celebrate Suzanne is back. Take a picture, post it, talk about how long Suzanne has been a customer with you, how excited you are to have her. And even if Suzanne is willing, have Suzanne share what her experience was like coming back and how happy you are to see her. The other thing I want us to look at doing, folks, is celebrate your community. Many of us are in a complex and we may have other businesses beside us. Sometimes we're so into our business that we forget that we are a community. And I think during this time, many of us has reacquainted ourselves with even the people in our own communities. For those of us who live in gated communities or in neighborhoods, we've started to actually see and communicate with people. I know in my complex we have more than ever before. We even have a Charlton farm gate, where one of the residents is arranging for us always to get mangoes and all kind of things at the gate. And the community has started to grow. It's the same thing. Folks, we're all in this together. This is why we started these conversations. This is why we're doing this, because as I said, nobody's coming to rescue us, folks. And what is happening is that together, we are going to work together to create a more abundant Jamaica. And that means we share, we talk, we celebrate. So celebrate the fact that right beside you, listen, man, I'm reopening, you're reopening too? Yes. Let's celebrate. Let's just make it an absolutely amazing event. The fact that we are reopening, that we made it through, that in our complex we are there. So celebrate your community. And thank them for having the courage and determination as well to survive. The more of us that survive in our complexes, the better business will be for us. And then as you do your celebration, make it memorable and newsworthy. Folks, I'm going to say to you, we're not going back to the past ever again. The past is done. It's gone. We are in the new normal. And then we're creating our new futures. We will not pass this exact place again in history. This is a now. Make it memorable and newsworthy. The day that you reopened, the day that you survived, the day that you made it through, all of these announcements. I saw Kimala Bennett from the lab, a client of ours, and there she was, in the newspaper with SEPRA. They were talking about the fact that these clients had had an amazing quarter. And she is a small business that grew, then listed on the exchange. And during this time, she's having an amazing success. So, continue to celebrate. Celebrate the journey. Make it memorable and newsworthy, and celebrate all your wins. Also, invite as well the newspaper and the media to the reopening of your stores. Sometimes we forget. I know with all of the news about the deaths and the this and the that and how much COVID cases we have and who was murdered here, but at the same time, just like how TVJ put on the news the fact that, listen, with our live stream, the president of First Global saying, you need to get online, SMEs. You really need to, because you need to understand that, listen, we have moved into the next phase. It's more efficient to be online. You don't need to be sending bearers to the bank anymore. We need to actually be moving into the next century and becoming way more efficient. It's the same way that you want to say to all of the news stations and to everybody else, listen, We want to celebrate the fact that we're reopening. Come out. We're making it a big event. Come out, celebrate with us. So invite them so that they can see that your business is doing well. So remember, folks, lots of celebrations and lots of announcements. Those are the tips that we had for today. So reopening, renew with deals for days. Those are the tips we covered today. Reopening announcements, let everybody know that you're reopening. And then the third thing, make it a celebration. Make it a celebration. So those are the tips that we have today. So we've gone through 5 tips so far. And so the next session, I'm actually going to finish all the other 4 tips. That will be next week, Tuesday. But I really want to say this. You are going to be in for a treat this Thursday when we interview and we have with us our Rita Hilton from CAC. So she's going to give you an amazing recount of what has happened over this quarter. And I think we may have another guest. We're finalizing them as well. But I'm just inviting you all to join our live stream again. This is going to be on Thursday at 1 o'clock with our Candid Conversations, where we'll have Coach Arlene Martin and Ian Nita from JCC, and they'll be doing the interview. So I encourage you to come out and join us via live stream. Now, I want to share with you, I always want to share with you some information that will help to actually make you be inspired. So I want to share with you a video, and this one I chose today because this video is about the word called when, and it's a 4-letter word that holds us back from achieving our results. And the reason I want to share this video is that many of us can actually say, yeah, man, I want to do this. I'm thinking of doing it. I absolutely should do it. And we keep saying that, but then the word is when. And as we go through this period, many of us are getting tired. It just seems like it's not ending. And so we're starting to do a big word called procrastinate. So I really want to play this video for you now, because I want you to understand that we have to move away from I will do something when, instead of saying that. So I want you to watch the video and then I'm going to come back on. So hold on 1 second for me. Let me play this video.
The biggest obstacle in your life today could be one of the smallest words in our language. So many times we blame everyone and everything else for our situation, when the problem is this little 4-letter word. Pound for pound, it's one of the most powerful and limiting words we can say. What is that word? When. I'll really get my life together when, fill in the blank. How often this word stands in the way of us moving forward in life. How often we procrastinate by waiting for the perfect conditions to begin living life to the fullest.
I will be making more money when.
I'll start giving to charity when.
I will be a better employee when.
I'll invest time and money in my growth when.
I'll start treating my wife better when.
I'll really start getting in shape when.
By adding when, we make excuses. We separate ourselves from the responsibility. We set conditions for our actions instead of taking the first step. The word when implies that something outside of ourselves is holding the key to our progress. Everything you need to fulfill your goals is already inside you. You only need to see your boundless potential, and the journey is underway. Today, don't pause your dreams waiting for the right conditions. Success meets you where you step, not where you stand. Take that first step and watch your path illuminate before you. Live your life without the when.
Right. So what I want to say is, don't wait until something I shared a lot of information today, and what I want to encourage everyone to do is to not wait for something to happen. Don't say wait until this happens or when this happens. It's to take action on every single tip that I have shared so far. And from the candid conversations, you're going to be seeing business tips as well that our business owners will be sharing. I'm going to ask you to just write them down and say, listen, I'm going to incorporate it, not when, I'm going to incorporate it in my business and take action on it now. So if I'm not seeing any comments. Hi, Andrea, I see you. I know you're late, but that's fine. I'm glad to have you here. So what I want to say to everyone now is, listen, let's go off and make our businesses not just survive, but thrive. We're into the next stage. Yes, we're seeing what's happening in the US, but listen, we're going to hunker down. We're going to focus on what we can control, and let's make Jamaica the abundant nation that it can be as we work together as SMEs, as a community, and help to make Jamaica the great country that it is and will continue to be. So I'll see you next week. I'll see you on Thursday. Actually, I won't be seeing you. I'll be behind the scenes, but Coach Arlene and Ianita will be having our candid conversation this Thursday. So take care and have a wonderful couple of days, and see you soon.